welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Vowz with Flower and
Marcus.
we are so happy to be rocking it out on our next episode, on our second episode of Beyond the Vowz, and we got a pretty hot topic for you guys. This week's poll question is going to be hot. I hope that you guys are ready to hear it. But before we get into that, Mr. Boyd, what are we talking about tonight?
So yeah, definitely the show is called Beyond the Vowz, but definitely I wanted to address some issues even before you even get to the altar, even before you get to the church, even before you get to the marriage. But and this episode is pertaining specifically to the ladies. We're gonna have some clues to help you know when you have found the right man God has sent to you.
Okay.
7 clues, guys.
7 clues, guys. So again, I know that this is beyond the vows, but now we're going to talk about before the vows, because you know how it is when you're dating and you're trying to find the right one. And sometimes I used to find myself dating just to date and not dating looking for dating for marriage. It was just, a situationship, right? So what's the first one, babe?
So first of all, I want to say, for the ladies, some men will be lessons, some men will be a waste of time, but there's one man.
One man what?
And one man will be God, will be sent from God.
Oh, I like that. So some men will be lessons?
No, some men have been lessons.
Right.
Some men have been a waste of time, but there's only one God that will be a man God has for you.
Right.
And we want you to know that this man does exist, but you need to learn how to recognize him and receive him so you can experience an amazing relationship. So today we're going to give you 7 clues that you have found the right man of God has for you.
You're right, babe. You're right. And guys, I can truly contest, like, your spirit, your soul will let you know when you have found that right man. Because this one right here, when I met him, he was visually appealing to me. He looked good to me, guys. But most importantly, when I finally got a chance to really connect with him, not on a physical level, just on an intellectual level, on a spiritual level, I was like, well, there is something different about this man. There is something different, and I couldn't put my finger on it. He knows this. I talk about it all the time. My other friends that I was talking to and dealing with at the time, I told them, like, I can't fool with you no more. Like, lose my number, because I don't know what it is about this one, but I don't want to let him go.
So excuse me, I have some notes here. I'll be looking down. Forgive me on that. I have some notes. I just want to.
Oh, he's ready for y'all tonight, guys. He is ready.
So I know there's a lot of women out there that are struggling to believe that a great man exists for them, but I'm here to tell you that they do. And I know dating these days have gotten harder, relationships have gotten worse for a lot of people, but I need you to understand that you can experience great results. You can receive that man that God has for you. You can get what you desire, truly desire.
Right.
We have to be mindful and recognize this individual, because a lot of women have unfortunately picked the wrong man, right?
Well, why did he pick the wrong man?
I'm gonna get into that.
I'm just curious.
A lot of women have, like I said, unfortunately picked the wrong man and have got caught up with this individual who has created more damage, more misery, more wasted time, and simply took you off track and derailed you from your purpose. You name it, it's been a disaster relationship with this man, right? So the only problem is we want to tweak the selection process. So my wife and I are going to lay out some clues for you to better recognize this guy so you can experience a great relationship. So our first topic that we're going to get into,
hey Deandra,
is number 1, and I know it sounds self-explanatory, but you will be attracted to him.
I told y'all he was visually appealing.
Right. But for a lot of women that are believers, they've been told that you don't necessarily have to be attracted to him. You just gotta give a nice guy a chance. The guy that's nice to you, he treats you good, and all that type of thing. Some women have been told that looks aside, if he treats you a certain way, that's a good thing.
But we all know that's not realistic to maintain a sustainable relationship, a sustainable marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not attracted to that man, because we all know that a marriage, you're going to be intimate. In a relationship, you're going to be intimate with that person.
Right.
And so if you're not attracted to that person, that's a formula for disaster, because when he wants to be intimate with you're going to look at him like, ew, or, and then what happens when our bodies change?
Right.
What happens? Because I know I didn't gain weight since we've been together. Both of our bodies have changed. So if you're not attracted to him now, what's going to happen when you get a couple more miles on him, when there's more, more experiences, and when you guys get a little bit older? So you got to be attracted to him.
And then God is not trying to put you in a relationship where there's no attraction, because everybody knows if there's no attraction in a relationship, especially for the women, there's going to be a lack of respect, a lack of admiration, a lack of affection. All that stuff tends to dwindle. And so the quality of the relationship is going to suffer, is going to go down. But for women in general, typically they can be attracted to a man, and not so much as on the physical tip.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like if he has ambition, if he's intelligent, if he speaks to you a certain way, if he makes you laugh. So all these things can make a man more attractive in a woman's eye.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm saying attraction and not how he looks.
That's good.
Right.
Because I know you heard the term when people would say you got to grow to love someone. Grow, like 1 + 1 is going to equal some amazing goals because of what he has and what you have. If you put that together, you guys can do some great things together. But you're right, babe. There has to be something that attracts you to that person. So that's a really good point. What's next?
So, you want to go to number 2?
Yeah. Let's rock on.
Okay.
Unless you had something else for this one. You got some more nuggets to drop?
Well, I mean, I'm saying I know a lot of women in general have a tendency to focus on looks, and if you're focusing on looks, you're definitely looking for the wrong thing. Women have this thing where they want him to be a certain height. Oh, girl, he got to be 6'3". He's got to be dark skinned. He has to have this certain complexion. He has to have this certain type of job. Be 6 figures and some of those things. And there's nothing wrong with wanting what you want or having preferences, but don't put yourself in a box, though. Right?
I agree. You can't. You still have to be. When I go over things with my clients, I say you have your non-negotiables, and but you also have the things that you desire. Now, if one of your non-negotiables is that he cannot be shorter than you, you would like a man that's 6'3", but one of those things that he just definitely can't be shorter than you. So if you can't X out every man that's not 6'3", but your main thing is you don't want him to be shorter than you.
Some things that come in small packages.
There are some things, but that's not, small packages ain't for everybody. Everybody don't like small packages.
And you know what the reality is? There's plenty of people that experience attraction and been with people that haven't checked their box. It's been outside their typical prototype of what they normally date, right? So there's been plenty of evidence of that. So
I like that.
So, but there is a quote that's out there that I wanted to leave.
What you got
on this one is, the man may not come in the package you expected, but he'll have everything that you need.
Oh, ouch. Say that again. Say it again.
The man you might not come. Wait. The man you may not come.
The man may not come.
Yes, the man may not come in the package you're expecting, but he'll have everything that you need.
Wow, I like that. You know what? You're right.
So
you're right. That's good. All right, what's number 2? What got?
Number 2 is you will be able to talk to him. So I know this is huge for us. It's like communication is a big thing, and you will know from the beginning. Communication has been an issue from day one. It's like women are so used to men not communicating that you give men a pass for the lack of communication, which, you know what I'm saying, you have diminished its value, and it's typically a common with men is unable to talk, and this is a huge mistake.
So why do you think that is, that we give men a pass to not communicate? Like, no, like not being able to. Why do we accept our men not communicating with us? Why do we accept? Oh, that's just them. Oh, he don't talk a lot, or he don't share his feelings, or he doesn't tell me what he doesn't like.
For the simple fact is, he's the wrong man.
Okay.
So if you're not able to be open, and this goes back to the women too, when you're dating with a man, you have to be open.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be expressive. You have to talk. You have to communicate. A lot of issues is women are guarded. They come in with walls and they don't express themselves fully. So how can you then qualify him to make sure that he has a quality of conversation and is going to be able to listen and communicate properly if you're not communicating with him? But that is a key sign. If there's a lack of breakdown in communication, because one, there has to be an effort. He has to want to. And if he's the man for you, he's going to put himself in a position to listen to you, to pay attention to what you're saying, and it's going to be a mutual thing. So if he's not willing to talk, he's not willing to open up, he's not the right man for you. Because the man that God has for you is going to have an open line of communication at all times with
you. Oh wait, Mr. Bowie, you dropping some nuggets tonight, guys. If y'all are watching this on a social media platform, definitely share this video, share this audio, share this, because we're trying to help some people today. Mr. Bowie is trying to help some ladies tonight, guys, and I'm rocking as a co-host today. I'm chilling because he is really dropping some nuggets from a man's point of view. Because so many times, and let me know if I'm wrong, we as women, we come together and we talk about things from our point of view, and we make assumptions about the man. And so many times we don't go out and ask men, hey, what do you want? What do you think? Why is this happening? Right. So you got anything else on? And back to communication, guys. What we found in our relationship, we had to realize that he wasn't my enemy, guys. I'm not his enemy. He had to know that I was willing to guard his heart, and that I had to be safe with him guarding my heart. And sometimes when you're, for us ladies, we want to communicate and we want answers right now. Okay. And I'm saying this because yes, men, we need to hold them accountable to communication, but they sometimes won't communicate the way that we want them to. We'll have a conversation and Mark's is like, I don't know. Let me think about it. And I have to be okay with letting him think about it, right? And it may be a couple days later where he wants to talk about it again because he literally wanted to think about it, or he literally didn't have an opinion about it. But me and my selfish woman self, I was like, no, we need to talk about this right now. I want to know how you're feeling right now. And he hadn't even had time to really dive deep into his own feelings. Another thing is going to be like heated conversation, not heated, but hot. Be mindful of conversations that will push your partner's buttons, right? And just share with them like, hey, this is how this made me feel. I know you didn't do it maliciously. I know you didn't do it from a bad place or from a place to hurt me, but babe, this is how this made me feel. So we had to start having those conversations. And then when we shared that, we had to, the other person had to be like, okay, thank you for sharing that. Even though we wanted to defend ourselves and things like that, we had to literally get to a point where saying, it's okay. I acknowledge your feelings. Because acknowledging someone's feelings is going to go a long way when it comes to this communication thing in your relationship. What else you got, Ben?
Awesome. And it's just basically, like I said, if he is truly the right man for you, that line of communication is going to be open. It's going to, even if he's not the best communicator, he will put himself in a willing position to be able to talk to you. And it won't feel unnatural. It won't be any pushback. it's just going to feel genuine, and you're going to be really open and vulnerable. And that's another topic that we're talking about, vulnerability in your relationship.
I like it. I like it.
So clue number 3, that you know you have the right man that God has for you, you will share the same values. Now, this is really huge too, because people have a tendency to try to put a circle piece into a square hole. It just won't mix, right? You have to communicate and talk, because if he doesn't want to have children, and you want to have children,
right?
If you believe in marriage and he doesn't believe in marriage, if you're spiritual and he's not, that is going to be a recipe for disaster, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Everything.
Also, like, if he's not ready, don't. I think for this one, when it comes to value and as women, we have to understand that we literally cannot change a man. We cannot change a man. Sometimes our actions will inspire our husband, our boyfriend to do better, but we can't be in a relationship thinking, oh, I'm going to change him. Because if you do that, you're going to set yourself up for disaster. I see a lot of this with a lot of my faith-based relationships and things like that, where he never prayed before, but you think just because you ask him to pray every day with you, or you reading your word, your Bible, and things like that, he's gonna change just for you. No, he has to be willing and wanting to change, but at the same time, you got to go into the thing realizing, okay, what if he never changes? Is this okay with me? Is this a non-negotiable that this person doesn't have a faith-based life? So that's just, we got to be honest with ourselves. We definitely got to be honest with ourselves. I was in a previous relationship where the person began to change. The person started going to church with me, all these things, because because I inspired him to change for that season. But after that season was over, he was like, nah, I can't, this isn't me. I can't do this. And so he went back to doing the other things. But in my mind, I wasted time, just like you said, when we first got started, I wasted time, energy, and put myself in some very sticky situations with the person who I tried to change. When from the jump, I should have said, you know what, this is a non-negotiable, so I can't do this. So that's very important, babe, to make sure those values are lining up. Even how you're raising your children, that's something that you got to talk about. How are you disciplining your children? Even your finances, do your financial values add up?
Right.
Do you care about credit? Do you care about saving? All of those things. So you really gotta, and this is a good one for anybody that's watching, to what are your values and what are your non-negotiables when it comes to your values?
I mean, because some ladies are looking at the fact that, he's a nice guy, he communicates well, and he is attractive, so he checks those boxes. But you overlook the glaring red flag that you are not aligned. And so you kind of compromise certain things. And like you said, you should have non-negotiables. And you kind of get the tunnel vision on, I want this man regardless of his values and what he wants and what I want. And like you said, that's not going to be a recipe for success either. So
yeah. All right, what's next, babe? Are we on 4?
Yeah, we're on 4. Number 4 is you feel vulnerable when you're with him.
You feel vulnerable when you're with him.
Right.
Okay.
And so I want to look at this. I want to break it down for 2 different angles. One, I want to break this down from a healthy woman's perspective, and then I want to break it down from a woman that has not healed.
Okay.
And the majority of the women fall into that category. They're not healed. So with a healthy woman angle, when she meets that man, he's going to pull out all those feelings, those vulnerable feelings out of her. it's going to cause her to feel like a little girl in a fairy tale. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a dream. Um, so it's something that she's going to be willing to love and embrace, and it's going to be very satisfying for her. It's going to cause her to feel feminine,
Mm-hmm.
to be vulnerable, to be open. It's going to be easier for her to express herself and do those things.
Okay.
When you're in a healthy, when you're feeling healthy, when you're not so guarded, those walls aren't up. And when you find that right man, it's just going to feel like an experience like no other,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
So, did you not feel that when you?
Yes, I did feel that. I felt very vulnerable. I did feel like I was, like I felt like a little high school girl. He tells me to this day, he's like, why you be giggling and acting like, I'm like, because you bring that out of me. You make me feel vulnerable. You make me feel secure. And it takes me back to being that young girl, that young woman, being connected with someone who is able to touch that special place in my heart.
So, so on the second tip, it's like when you're unhealthy and you're kind of broken, you have some issues going on there. When you meet the right man and you're still a little guarded, it's going to be a scary situation for you, because you're going to be like, what is really going on? Because you're going to have a multiple emotions going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see, it would be kind of overwhelming. You'll be losing yourself, but it's not so much as you're losing yourself. You're dealing with a lot of trauma. You're dealing with a lot of baggage and stuff that's going on in the past. But because you meet the right guy, he's causing you to get back to who you are, to bring you to that state of being feminine and stuff. Because some of these women are walking around with masculine energy, right?
Ouch. What that mean?
They're
Walking
guarded.
around with masculine energy?
They're guarded.
Yeah.
They for whatever reason they've grown up and they've been told that uh, they don't need a man. They haven't seen uh, an example of a good relationship, a good man. So they carry this masculine energy of I'm woman. I don't need you. I don't need anything. So, but when they find that right guy that God has sent them, it puts them in a scary situation that's causing them to be, outside of who they are, who they thought they were.
Mm.
And it's going to bring out that little girl, that feminine, that vulnerability. That wall is going to start coming down. It's
Right.
going to be uncomfortable. You don't know what's going on,
Right.
and so it's going to cause you to really self-reflect on yourself and see like, well, dang, what's really going on.
That's good. That's good. That remind me of I love this movie called Major Pain. And do you remember when the little boy hugged him and he was like, oh, it's making me feel funny,
Right.
you know?
Exactly. That's how it is.
Right? Because he's not used to being in touch with those feelings. I mean, but you're right. There are a lot of hurt women and men walking around today, right? There's a lot of us who are experiencing, who are walking around with trauma. We're walking around with soul wounds from past relationships, from things that happened in our childhood, from friendships where we've been backstabbed, or just relationships where we've given our all. And so now we have that residual effect of almost like the child that touches the hot oven. When a child touches a hot oven, they get burned, right? And next time they go near that oven, they're gonna be scared. They're gonna hesitate because they don't want to feel that same pain and hurt and trauma again. And so the baggage and the residual effect from these events in our lives cause us to not even get close enough to that person sometimes in order to really experience that person. So you're right, babe. We gotta make sure that we're doing our own individual soul work. We got to make sure that before we even start seeking a man or a woman, that we have done our work, that we know that we are worthy, that we know that we are whole, that we're walking in wholeness, and that we've been totally transparent with ourselves regarding all of these issues from our past, because they're going to come up. We're really good at masking these feelings from trauma and stuff.
Right.
But eventually in your relationship, it's gonna come up. And
Most definitely.
it's gonna cause a rift in your relationship because you're gonna charge that man or that woman for crimes that they didn't even commit. For they didn't make you go touch that stove. You was in another relationship and got burned. But you're bringing that trauma into this new relationship. So I like that, man.
Definitely. So, clue number 5. He will draw you closer to God and not further away.
Ooh, say that one more time.
So number 5 is he will draw you closer to God and not further away.
Okay, what you mean by that?
So many women claim that this man they had found, God brought him.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look closer into the relationship, you'll find that she's not praying as much. She's praying less. She's worshiping less. Her godly values have been compromised.
Okay.
So how can you say this man is from God if he's deterring you from the path of which God has wanted you to go?
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh. Wow. And I can say this for men as well. If you find a man or a woman, that person should be drawing you closer to God. That person shouldn't have you compromise who you are, whose you are, just for the sake of that relationship. Yeah. Why do you think that happens? So why do we get that mixed up saying, oh, God sent me this man, but we stop doing the things that got us to the point of getting that man? Because for so many of us women, we praying, we worshiping, we're active in our community, we doing all these things, but then when we get that man, we stop doing those things that put us in the position to get that man. We stop serving, right? Because now we got what we've been praying for. We got what we've been fasting for. We got what we've been desiring all this time, but then we stop.
So, I mean, for that simple thing is, he's not the one for you, because the man for you is going to encourage your spirituality. He is going to uplift you and embrace you through your walk with Christ. And matter of fact, he's going to walk with you together in Christ, because that's the foundation. That's the most important thing in your relationship. So if you find yourself, now don't get me wrong, you can't say, if it's your own choice, then you can't say it's him. But if he is not, and I'm not saying he's like, oh, no, I don't want you to pray, but he's not putting you in an environment that you feel comfortable praying or you feel comfortable worshiping, then you might need to reassess that relationship. He should not be deterring you from God. He should be embracing God, because he himself needs to be led by God also.
I like that. And I know we got to get ready to take a break really quick, but did you have anything else to add to clue number 5, that he will draw you closer to God and not further away?
I know a lot of people, you can take two people that are, and it happens a lot. You have two people that are following God. They're on the path of which God wants them to go. And we're all adults here, they enter into intimacy before they need to. And sometimes it clouds the relationship. But if you guys talk it out, you communicate, and he's willing to understand that, where you're at, what you want to do as far as like your relationship with God, he should be okay with that. But, we all make mistakes. We all do things not according to what we should be doing. But y'all should be on the same path and focus when it comes to your spirituality. And,
You're right. And you touched on one thing, and then we'll get ready to go to break. But when you are intimate with someone prematurely, that's when you have those soul ties coming in, right? And soul ties can clog your vision, yes. Right? So soul ties can cause you to do things or pull you in directions that you would normally go, right? Soul ties will have you thinking that this is the man or the woman that God has sent you. But in fact, that's not true. You're truly connected to that person because you have been intimate with that person prematurely, and you have connected yourself to that person and all the things that come along with that person spiritually and whatever attached to their soul. So it's so important to not be intimate with someone prematurely, because sex is sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sex is sex. But when you have sex with the right person, that's when you're able to experience and you're able to go to that next level of sacred sex. We need to have a segment. We need to do a show on sacred sex. When you're able to go to that next level, but premature sex will definitely impact your relationship. But guys, we'll be right back. We got to go to a quick commercial break. We'll see you right back here in a few.
Life is better when you are living on purpose, but many times we get stuck in the rat race and in the mundane task of our day-to-day lives, causing most to lose sight of their purpose. That's why certified life coach, inner healer, and business strategist LaFlower Bowie is here to help you get calibrated to your calling through proven systems, techniques, and resources. Order a copy of her book, Principles to Reposition, to assist you with your journey, or schedule a free clarity session to kickstart the journey. After these sessions, clients have stated they found clarity and opened their eyes to things they had long forgotten. So get social and follow LaFlower on all social media platforms at LaFlower Bowie. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show Beyond the Vowz. We are here talking about these 7 clues to let you know that you have found the right man or woman in your relationship. So we've gone through 1 through 5. We're about to rock out on 6 right now. Before we went to break, we were talking about soul ties, guys. And if you don't know what a soul tie is, I challenge you to do your research, because soul ties are so important for you to understand how they work, what they are, and how they can hinder your growth, and you recognize it if you are with the right person or not. So, babe, what we got for number 6?
So number 6 is he will be able to lead you with love.
Say it one more time.
He will be able to lead you with love.
Okay.
So under the God structure, he wants to give you a man that's going to lead you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who you can depend on, not who you have to put on your back.
Ooh.
Or you have to make a man. That's not your responsibility.
Okay.
But so if you enter into a relationship with a man who is incapable of leading you, it is going to be extremely problematic. That goes against what was established.
Okay.
So,
so him leading with love.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's possible? Well, I guess give me an example. When was the time that you led in love?
Ooh,
Whether it's with the children, whether it was with me, because leading with love is so important. Well, I'll give you an example, because I see you doing it all the time. So one of the ways I see you leading with love is just through your actions and how you treat me as your wife. Right. You know, that's leading with love. Or when you're loving on the girls, when you're loving on Tamir and things like that, that's, for me, that's leading with love and not lust. Because when you lead with love, you lead with a pure heart, right? Mm-hmm. You lead without having selfish motives and things like that. Mm-hmm. So that's leading with love. What else do you got? What else do you think about that?
Well, I know if with a man, if he's incapable of leading, it can only be masked so long. If you enter into a relationship with a woman and you're incapable of leading, first of all, she shouldn't enter into that relationship if it's already signs that he can't lead. But if she is in that relationship, if he's incapable of leading, at some point she is going to lose respect for that man. And they're just saying, if a man doesn't have a woman's respect, she will not have his love. Well, he will not have her love.
So if a man doesn't have a woman's respect, wow. Why do you think that love will be lost if he doesn't lead with love?
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of the relationship. The man is supposed to lead. He's supposed to set the foundation. He's supposed to have a plan, a vision. He's supposed to know what the agenda of the relationship is. And if he has no clue, if he's not prepared for that, he's not even ready for that, then that's going to cause her to look at him like he is not the one.
But isn't that Bible, right?
Yeah, that's definitely very biblical.
Isn't that's like a man should love his wife, right? Like Christ loves the church, right? And a woman should respect. So that's totally biblical, because for me, love is like honey. right? Love is like honey. When you're giving me spoonfuls of honey, you're gonna have me in the palm of your hand. I'm gonna want to do more. I'm gonna love you more. I'm gonna respect you more because you're leading with love, right?
Right.
But when you're not leading with love, when you're leading with lust, and when you're leading with frustration, when you're leading with that being dominant and command, because if I'm submitting to you and then you're trying to lead with all these different other things, then yeah, it's gonna cause me not to respect you. It's gonna cause me not to want to love you. It's gonna, if anything, it's gonna turn me totally off to you because I don't want to have anything to do with you because you're not loving me.
Right.
Because women, we just want to be loved. And being loved is being heard, being acknowledged, being appreciated, right? Knowing that that you're attracted to us, all that is love. Remembering things. A simple hug and a kiss and an I love you will go a long way, right? But when we're leading with frustration, when we're leading with anger, when we're leading with hurt and pain, then that will totally cause that respect to go away.
Right.
Now, wait, let's touch on this respect thing really quick before we jump into the next clue.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when a man is not respected or a man does not feel respected?
Well, you're saying from his point of view when he knows that he doesn't have the respect of his wife.
Right.
Well, it's just like it says in the Bible, he's going to. It's basically states that the woman's supposed to respect the man, and he's supposed to love her.
Right.
So if he doesn't feel the respect of his wife, it's going to be kind of hard for him to value her, to admonish her,
to love her
and lift her up.
Oh, that's good. So you're saying that for us women, if we're not feeling loved, then maybe we need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, are we respecting this man? Right? Because I know we went through our roller coasters, right? It's
twofold.
Right.
Because it's like you were gonna respect him in his position if he's able to have a plan. He has a vision.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he is as a man. He's able to lead you in a way that you want to be led. And so you're going to respect his position. You're going to respect his views, respect what he says. So then in response to that, he's going to know you respect. He's going to love you. He's going to value you. He's going to cherish you. He's going to lay down his life for you. So it's a combined thing. It works together.
I got you.
You can't have one without the other.
I got you. No, touch on this real quick. Mm-hmm. Tell me, because I know that there were times in our relationship where you felt that you weren't respected. So I don't know why I'm being led to touch on this just a little bit, but share with us, just from a man's point of view, what does that do to a man's psyche when he does not feel respected in his own home? It's
pretty simple. You don't want to be at home. You don't want to be there. A lot of things when it comes to respect is, and it says in the Bible, it's better for a man to live in the attic or on the rooftop than be with a quarrelsome wife. And when they say quarrelsome, it's like it's not so much that you can have spats, you can fight, you can fuss, but it's just the fact you're not even on the same page. It's like you can say apple, she says oranges. You say green, she says yellow. You say up, she says down. So it's not so much as the tone. It could just be the fact like y'all can't agree on simple things. So when it comes to big topics, what do you think is going to happen? So there's going to be turmoil, there's discord in the house. And so it's just, with that, you just like, you know what, and that's why in a lot of cases you have men are not at home. You know, that old saying, like, I'd rather go to the bar before I go home. I go to happy hour and you call him and like, Willie, where you at, Willie? Why ain't you ain't home, Willie?
Not Willie.
You know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh, I'll be home, but he's at the bar, he's doing other things. So.
Wow. That's true. So do you think that this one, because I think clue number 6 is so important, guys, because I think this one will lead to infidelity in your relationship.
But also too with 6. So there's 2 parts of that though. But I want to see with your woman side of it, how do you feel? Okay. So the whole thing is you find a man when you know he's leading you with love. But the second part is for you to find a man to lead, you have to be led.
Oh, so ouch. Okay.
We're finding that for men, and that's on our side, women struggling to take a position of being led. Why do you think that is? For me, what I've seen is women are having a tough time as far as they've never had an example of a man leading. They've never experienced that.
You got me scratching my head on this one. Okay, so I think that some women struggle with being in a position to be led. I'm just gonna talk about our community first. I think in our community, in the African American community, there's been over the past several decades, there's been an attack to dismember the African American family, period, by whether it's the justice system, whether it's drugs, all of that stuff, to break apart the family, right? So I think that's played a part in it, because there's been a mission to break the family apart. And so these young girls are not seeing their mothers be led and loved on by their dad. They're seeing their dad come and go. They're seeing, or they're not seeing him at all. And then they may see, mom in other relationships and all of that stuff. So I think that's one why we struggle. The second thing is that a lot African American women, we are on the rise so much when it comes to education, when it comes to business, when it comes to our place in the world right now, that sometimes we can get home and business and work entangled. Because you can be a 6-7 figure executive in the workplace, but when you come home, you still have to be in that position, be in your wife position, right? Just because you may make more money, or just because you make not even more money, just because you're making just as much money as your husband, when you come home, you got to be able to step back. Number 3 is going to be, hey, this is a loaded question. Number 3, the reason why some of us struggle with being led is because, like I said, I was fortunate enough to have my mother and father together until my father was killed when I was 17. And so I saw the dynamic of a kingdom household. My issue came in from my experiences with men, the men that I chose to be with, the men that I chose to have children with. And so that put me in a position where I was the breadwinner, where I was the one who was having to do everything. And so my choice of men caused me to have a mindset of wearing the pants. And so when we got together, that's why I struggled, y'all. I struggled being taking off those pants. Not that I didn't want to take them, not that I didn't want my husband to lead, but I struggled because of the trauma from my previous experiences that I didn't even realize that I was still dealing with. I was nervous. It's like, do I really just go back to that vulnerability that we talked about earlier? Can I be vulnerable with him? Can I trust that he's not going to leave? Can I trust that he's not going to cheat? Can I trust that he's actually going to help pay these bills? But that was from my own decision makings and the trauma that came, the residual effect of those things. So those are my reasons why sometimes we as women, we're put in a position where it's hard we have to adjust to being led with love. All right, you want to jump on to number 7 real quick?
So number 7 and the final clue is you will experience a deep connection with this man. So at the end of the day, you will be able to be yourself, right? You will be vulnerable, you will be open, communication will be great. There will be an absolute connection with this person. They say in spirituality, things happen in the spirit before it happens in the physical. So there's already a connection with somebody out there for those who haven't found them. It's just you haven't crossed paths with them yet. So things will line up in the spirit, and then you'll know it in the physical. So how do you feel about that as far as having that deep connection with somebody?
I think that's totally true. Just like I said at the beginning of the show, when I met you, I knew that there was something. I knew, like I said, you touched my inner person before you touched my physical person. And I knew that it was just something. I couldn't put my finger on it.
But what does it feel like when you had that deep When you have that alignment and that true connection with somebody that you know God has made this, He has specifically made this man for you. He has specifically made you for him. So when that connection, you guys come together and it lines up, y'all have the same values. Communication is there. Intimacy is there. Not on a physical, but on a mental level. There's an absolute connection. And it's like y'all have the same values. You have, hey, we want to be married. We want to have kids. We want to live here. We want to do this. Everything's aligning. You know what I say?
What'd you say?
Like I said, we're all adults here. It's like having an orgasm.
Oh, okay.
It's an absolute explosion of joy, bliss, and amazement. And it's undeniable, right?
It is. It's totally undeniable. That's how you felt when you met me.
Yeah.
Guys, he hated me. He hated me.
Hate is a
Okay, we both
bro.
disliked each other because we weren't on the same frequency. But when I actually had a chance to get to know this fella right here, I was like, oh my gosh. So that's another tip. We can't have, we can't make judgments on men and women who we really don't know. Because like I said, we did not like each other, but we only knew each other from a distance. But when we actually started to conversate and converse and have conversations with each other, we was like, oh my God. Right. All right.
And I'm going to say, just to end it all and wrap it up, you have to include direct inclusion of God in your relationship. Ooh. You can't neglect him. The one key I can say, and people say it all the time, but I'm a big advocate of it. We've gotten better with it. We don't do it as much, but I can promise you, if you pray with your spouse on a more consistent basis, it's going to fortify that relationship. You're going to go into a deeper spiritual relationship than you ever had with your spouse. You'll be aligned and in tune with each other on certain things that you didn't even know y'all were aligned on.
Right.
You will start thinking alike. Just everything will be in alignment.
I totally agree.
So don't exclude God out of your relationship. He should be number one. He should be the center. He is the glue that's keeping that thing together.
Right. Because when it comes to marriage and after the vows are there because you made that covenant between the three of you guys. That 3-cord strand is not easily broken. When it's you, him, and God together, you guys can do some amazing things. Awesome, babe. That was really dope.
Yeah.
That was super dope.
Yeah. I had to put that together. So I hope that, you learned some things today. I hope you can use some of these 7 clues to help you in your relationship, your journey with, in finding the right man. He is out there. There is going to be a connection with him. You just have to be, like my wife pointed on, and with men also, we have a tendency to latch ourselves to the wrong person at the wrong time. You're going to know without a doubt, this person is sent from God for me, because everything is going to line up. There's not going to be any pushback. There's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an orgasmic feeling of love, admiration, and just vulnerability on both parts. So I'm just hoping everybody can experience that. It's a beautiful thing when you found that right person.
I love it. All right, guys. So we are going to transition into our poll question of the week. So the poll question for this week, guys, is, and we were talking about the women, now we're going to talk about the men, right? Mm-hmm. So the poll question is, are men as faithful as their options? I'll say it again. Are men as faithful as their options?
No.
So, wait.
You got to break that question.
Okay. So y'all know I was scrolling through social media, and there was this local rapper here in Houston, and he was like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, ladies, we only as faithful as our options. So when it comes to their options, that means 9 times out of 10, that means their status and their money, right? their status and their money, because status and money will increase your options. Is that fair to say?
Of course.
So if your man has more status, if your man has more money, this guy is saying that they will have more options. So what do y'all think about it?
So that's the thing now. Not to cut you off. That's the thing. Everybody's on this high value man kick thing. And when you have a high value man, typically he makes the upper echelon of income. He's able to live a certain lifestyle. So he's going to have more at his disposal as far as resources, networking, other high value men, their positions, and what they're referring to is their abundant access to women.
Right. Right.
Because of their net worth.
Right. So I've even told Marcus, at least to say, depends on the man. Some men are whatever they are, no matter the lifestyle. I like that, Lisa. You're right. There are some men who are like, no, I'm good. I'm Gucci. And the reason I brought up this poll question is because Marcus is right. There's a lot of discussion around a lot of women seeking high value men these days. And when you look at the typical high value man admits that he cheats. He admits that he has multiple relationships because he travels and his wife may be at home with the children. And, you know, he may need a companion while he's on these trips and things. And so along with this poll question, guys, we have to think about what are the options that are actually out there? Because are women actually more high value in money, but no, that very true, Lisa.
So let me ask you, ladies, this. I'm curious. So if you have a high value man, you're married to a high value man. He's giving you the home, the bank accounts, the wardrobe. He wants and dines you. You lack for nothing. But you do know that he's not home a lot. He works a lot. Because he has to sustain this type of lifestyle. He can't be in your face 24/7. He can't be at home at all times. So you know this. But you do know that he is going to do what he do. So my question is for the ladies. Would you stay in that relationship because you have everything that you want? He is there, but you do know there's other things he might be doing. Is it worth it to you to sacrifice everything to walk away, or are you willing to stay and endure what you have?
I would say, as for me, yeah, I'm selfish. So what Deandra said depends on the man and what he's looking for. A broke man can be a dog, and both can be faithful. I like that. For me, no, I wouldn't stay. That's just me. That's how I've grown up. I can't stay. Lisa says, I've had high value man, but lack morals. Yeah, live in a fantasy world. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like I would give away all that stuff to make sure that I have a great relationship. Because what's the point in going through life? What's the point in having a partner that you can't rock it out with? Because he's constantly gone, he's constantly doing what he does and things. But I have friends and stuff from other cultures, and they say that some of us Western women, American women, that we need a wake-up call. That it's normal for your man to dabble in things. That as long as he's taking care of home, he's taking care of the kids, he's taking care of the house, like Marcus said, the wardrobe, everything, as long as he's taking care of all those things, you should be good. So ladies, let me ask you, is it us? Because a lot of other women in the world, they're cool with it. They're cool. Like, this faithful question doesn't even come up because they say that men are going to cheat. That's just by nature. So what do you think?
And I am indifferent on that. I do think there are high value men that do not cheat. They have morals. They understand that they're married. They have their wife. They just have to. I worked a lot. I was gone. I made a good living for my family. But there has to be a sacrifice. There has to be understanding on both parts. Like honey, I'm going to be working 70, 80 hours a week. I'm not going to be here. When I'm here, I'll be tired. But I'm trying. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna have our time. We're gonna do what we do. Go to dinner, hang out, watch a movie, all that kind of stuff. But I gotta make this money. So I don't want to say that all high value men are scandalous or
Right.
cheaters and all that.
Mhm.
That's giving a bad connotation to them. I don't think they should be scrutinized because of the work they put in to be where they're at. And they
Right.
come with a label just because I'm a six-figure man or because I'm a CEO. Oh, I got to be messing around. Oh, I have to be cheating on my wife. And I don't think that's fair to judge them. Because then you're looking at the fact you're judging the woman. Because if you know her husband is traveling all the time, or he's a high value man, he's in it, you're going to assume like, girl, your husband's cheating on you.
Right.
So it works both ways.
It
So,
definitely works both ways. At least it was like, it's not us. And I definitely agree. I also think that when it comes to men with options, I think that should be an open communication topic, right? What, and it goes back to your morals and your values, things that we talked about today. If you guys are really aligned to be within each other, it's like, do you share the same morals and values and things like that? Because if he's that man for you, then he won't cheat, right? He won't go out looking for anything because you didn't prayed over him, you didn't covered him, you didn't done all those things as he's gone on these business trips. And sometimes I would go wherever my husband was. I'm coming to that. Like, I'm getting off work on Friday. I'm coming. I'm taking off work. If you're driving distance, I'm on my way. I'm coming to you so that you won't feel the need to go out and do other things, or you won't feel like, oh, I need some companionship. But at the same time, being a man has to have self-control and discipline, right? Because that's a part about being a man. If you can't operate with self-control and discipline, then you're acting as a young boy and not a man, because you guys get tempted every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Especially with social media and things like that. So with today's question, I don't know. I think it's partly true, partly not, but I think it really depends on the man.
I will say it does depend on the man. Speaking from a man's point of view, it is the man. It's all about his morals and his values, where he's at. Because you can have a man, like I said, we talked about David Stewart. He's a CEO, but he's been married to his high school sweetheart for years, and he is a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has morals, he has values, he's Christian based, he does his ministry, he does his thing. So it's all about the particular man. Now, if you know that you're with not a God-fearing man and you're with him because of the resources, then you have to deal with what you get.
You got to be okay with it.
So, and I think that's what a lot of women are in. You're in with men that their morals are in question. It's been in question since the day you met him. Now, don't get me wrong. There's men that fallen short. Now, that's another topic too. If you have a man that cheats, do you leave after the first time? I'm not saying the first time like this multiple times, but I'm saying if you cheat one, are you gone? So, but I'm just saying, off the rip, if he's the type of man that you want to be submit to,
right? Or
you're just in for the resources. So there's always going to be signs there. But I'm just here to say that it depends on the man where his moral compass is. Does it even work? So
does it even work? Oh my goodness. Well, babe, that's it. So guys, we thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Vowz. I hope that you guys learned something today, took something away, but most importantly, you enjoyed hanging out with us for this past hour. Please remember to go follow us on our Instagram page, Beyond the Vowz. You can check out my website at LaFlowerBuoy.com. You can check us out on Facebook at Beyond the Vowz. All that great stuff, guys. We look forward to seeing you next week. And if you go over there and follow those social media pages, we will be posting our poll question for next week's, so we can talk about it. So you guys have a great time. Grace and peace. Good night. Bye.
And whatever you do, never settle. Always take it to the next level.
Are you looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle but have less than perfect credit? Look no further than Mi Amigo Motors, offering in-house financing to help you build or reestablish your credit. All vehicles are put through a multi-point inspection, and their award-winning customer service and on-site service center will make your buying experience stress-free. I know you got your stimulus check and it's tax refund season, so stop by Mi Amigo Motors today at 9729 Long Point Road or give them a call at 832-548-5927 to reserve your appointment for their VIP approval. Again, that's 832-548-5927. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.